Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Daily Tilt, Monday, September 8th, 2025. So this is a new thing that I'm doing, taking a chance to extend my own attention span, maybe help all of you a little bit. And what I'm doing is just blocking off the very beginning of my day where I'm jumping into longer content things, white papers, books, longer content videos, and then being able to capture the things I learned today and bring them to all of you. Maybe it'll make you all a little more curious in a new area. You'll learn something new and interesting you wouldn't have learned otherwise. But maybe more importantly, it ends up at least as a several minute conversation each day that lets us get out of the blast of information coming at us and gets at least some amount of curation from somebody who cares about you and how things go for you in your life. So one of the first things I read this morning was talking about being useful in this life and how something as simple as being useful can be a career changer. You know, so the thing that I thought about is like looking at my calendar today. Am I going to be useful and valuable to the people I'm going to meet with? And if I'm not queued up to do that, what a great opportunity to pause and reflect and make sure that I do. This is a random piece of information, but read in an article having to do with Chicago's crime problem. And it had to do, this was some crime person was talking, but he had to do with the geography. He said Chicago's very attractive destination because it's geographically centrally located. You can use that as a distribution hub. Chicago specifically, they have interstates that run north, south, east, west, and has a robust railway system. 2 international airports, many smaller airports, Lake Michigan, and the rivers. So, you know, just kind of a little bit of an aha. I text my business partner in Chicago, and it's just how certain things can either work in your favor or against your favor as a city, and something as simple as your geography and being a transport hub could be part of it. Now, let me take a second so I can explain to you guys what I'm wearing. I realized I tested this out last week and explained all of this, but of course, this week we're launching it. So I'm walking for an hour a day. I've been doing it for several weeks now with this 40-pound weight vest. And it's kind of a minimum standard of fitness that I'm working to hold. So you guys are just coming along with me in the first few minutes. And then the gloves and on the other side of me, my garbage bag is all because there's a power line road near here that periodically gets some garbage put on it. So when I'm doing my daily ruck, I just take a garbage bag with me, and if I find garbage, pick it up along the way. The gloves are, some of the garbage maybe isn't so nice. So I prefer to have the leather gloves. All right, so now that I've explained all of that, let's go. Oh yeah. So a thought that just kind of comes from like special operations training. And this idea that they'll tell even the guys they're coaching to get through buds with the SEAL teams. And what they'll tell them is, if it's getting really, really, really hard for you and you think you're going to quit, encourage somebody else. Talk to somebody else. Give somebody else a helping hand. And so kind of in the theme of being useful, think of offering help to somebody else and not complaining. Now, the not complaining comes from a thing that I did down in Southern California called SEAL Fit 20X. It's this like 12-hour ordeal where former Navy SEALs kind of pulverize you into dust while teaching you leadership lessons. And one of the things they taught us, there's this section where it's like this blend of push-ups and planking, and everybody is so sore. We're out on this asphalt like basketball court, and everybody was responsible for keeping their rifle, which in this case was a PVC pipe. But what they would do while you were distracted with your push-ups or your plank is they would come and grab that rifle and throw it over the fence. Then you had to bear crawl, hands and toes, all the way out to get it, except this was in Temecula. So there's just goat heads in the ground. We're getting stickers in our hands. And one of the things they yelled at us, I could say they commended to us, was don't complain. All the grunting and groaning and suffering that you're going through, they said, is not only making you weaker, but it's discouraging the person to your right and left. And it really gave me that reality check of how when we complain about difficulty we're going through in life, it really just puts us in the position that we could be weakening the people to our right and left. So it's why I teach our Trail Life boys this Bible verse. We rejoice in our suffering because suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope. Therefore, we should tilt into our challenges and have joy in them rather than complaining. Then there's a link. I'm going to have Marla put it in the comments or wherever you're seeing this. This interview with Chuck Norris from like the 80s. You know, you forget what a big star he was. At that time, he'd been in 22 movies. None of them have ever lost money. But there's a section of this short interview where he talks about worry and why he just doesn't worry about things. And he has a simple way of looking at it, but it sure is a great reminder. It's about 4 minutes in. If you choose to take a look at it, we'll put that down in the comments. And one thing that he said was he always set the next goal he thought he could achieve. And I think we forget about this. People will say, well, I want to be a billionaire or some outrageous aim. And he was like, no, to become a karate champion, I won a city tournament. And I was like, I wonder if I could win a state tournament. And then he set his sights on that one. And then he set his sight on the first national championship. So I think in today's world of glitz and glamour and these insights into wealthy people's lives, or at least what they let you in on their device, can put us in a position where we think the noble thing to do is to have an outrageous aim when maybe what you need to do is focus on winning the city tournament. And then from my Bible reading today, be thankful for what you have fallen heir to that others have toiled for. So be thankful what you have fallen heir to that other people have toiled for. And I'll just kind of leave you with this today. So we live out in the city, but the city is getting closer all the time. And I often think about how difficult it would have been in the past to just take my mom to the doctor in Seattle. You know, people well before me spent time, effort, energy building highways, inventing cars, mass production, everything else, because 100 years ago, we would have just said goodbye to everybody. And I would have headed down to Seattle with my mom and in a wagon, I suppose. And we would have hoped for the best, and we would have just waited for somebody to be able to see her. And yet we have all of this blessing today that comes from difficulty and suffering and innovation that came from those before us that we can always be thankful for today. So with that, I hope that this has been a valuable part of your daily tilt, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. I'm glad you could join me on today's daily tilt. I hope that it helps you tilt into your day, tilt into your learning, and maybe you learned something to let you go a little bit deeper today. So with that, put something you learned in the comments below, and we'll see you tomorrow. But take a second and let Marla turn this camera around and let you see these little kittens playing in my front planter. They do really like the looks of the camera.